Hello and welcome. You're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live conversation web TV portal. All right, so today is the day we have all been waiting for. A day we've all been waiting for with some anticipation, some trepidation perhaps. And now it seems as if the NDA is set to form the next government. We have so many leads coming in. And I was just watching a news channel which has said that the BJP itself is leading in about 253. But for the latest figures, let us show you a quick infographic before I introduce my guest to you. All right, so there we have it on the screen. We have a tally of about, of 477 out of the 543, and BJP, according to the website of Election Commission, is leading in 243 seats. The Congress, a dismal 51, and others are at 183. All right, so those are the latest figures we have, of course. These are the trends. These are the seats where the BJP is leading. To analyze this, to talk about the trends, I have with me two experts in the studio. First, P.P. Balachandran, senior journalist. Bala sir, thank you so much for joining us in the conversation.
Thank you very much.
And also Srinivasan Ramani, senior assistant editor with the EPW. Thank you so much, Srini. Hi, thank you and joining. Welcome to the conversation. Thank you for joining. All right, Bala sir, let me first ask you.
Bala.
Call you Bala, okay. Let me first ask you, is this a number you were actually anticipating? The exit polls, of course, this time around they got it right.
No, forget about the exit poll. If you've been reading newspapers for the past X many weeks,
yes,
and if you have made a mental assessment of the kind of the political trend that's been around us all these days and weeks, you don't have to be an Einstein to guess what's coming. No, it's basically, this is one election. I mean, I was listening to the channel experts, and quite a few of them said, I want to be surprised. What they mean is, they want BJP to lose. I'm sorry, I'm not surprised that BJP is winning. Mm-hmm. That's a kind of assessment you have to make as a senior journalist. Weeks ahead, you could see the trending.
Right.
You could see how it is going to turn around.
Right. All right. Let me, Srini, before I go across to you, we have a participant from the United States, and I would like to welcome him also to the conversation. He is Satish Kamath, and he's a business consultant, and he's calling from Fremont. Mr. Satish Kamath, welcome to the conversation. Can you hear me, sir?
A very good morning and a very good evening from this side of the world.
Good evening. Good evening to you too. Okay, your first reactions to the trends that we are seeing. The BJP leading in, according to the Election Commission, 243 seats. It seems that the NDA is set to form the next government. Your first thoughts, sir?
I think my first thought was revolving around the Sensex, which just shot up. And I think the whole aspect of growth and the optimism of industrialists as well as the people who are investing in the market,
right,
I think that's a great sign. That's a great sign. And of course, the whole thing will keep tilting whether Mr. Modi gets 272 plus on his own, or he's hanging at 260 or 250 or 240.
Right.
But that's the next 24 hours. But my first impressions are 25K is a great reflection of the optimism of the country that's looking forward to the next 5 years.
Right.
I have a question for him, if I may interrupt.
Mr. Balachandran has a question for you, Satish.
Yeah. Okay, now
Yeah,
you're talking like a true NRI who's more worried about your bank balance and investment and all that. Now, how much time would you give Narendra Modi to keep that Sensex at 25K?
I think 25K is a sort of a impulsive reaction to the news. That's my first feel. For an index which was hanging anywhere between 17,000 to 21,000 for such a long time, with fundamental growth being stunted, I feel 25 is a reaction. But if Modi can bring that 25 figure at a stable average across the whole of the next 5 years, I think that would be a very, very good first step for me. And once he sets that platform, I guess the next 5 years, if he is re-voted, and why should he not be if the results are there to see, I think we are in for a great song and dance.
Okay, so a lot of optimism there in terms of growth as far as the NRI community is concerned. All right, tell us your thoughts on the trends that you're seeing. In fact, if I can just digress a little bit, we just got reports that Ajit Singh is trailing.
And he's set to lose. That's all.
He's set to lose.
Before I get to answer the question, can I
Yes,
just
absolutely,
quickly?
please.
The UPA government is we can accuse it of number of things.
Yes.
But at least the first tenure of the UPA government, we saw humongous growth during that period. The second period,
8.5 or
yeah,
something, yeah.
8.5%.
Yeah.
The second period was we saw a deceleration,
Yes,
but the
slump.
deceleration and the slump was in line with what happened in other developing countries across the world post the global financial crisis. Number one. Number two, the angst for the industrialist classes in the country, the big business community in the country. Was
Srini,
that,
Srini, Narendra Modi has won from Vadodara.
What was that?
4.25 lakh votes.
That's
He's
that's-
won by 4.25 lakh. This
Yeah.
is breaking news. This is
Yeah.
just coming
Yeah.
in. This is
Yeah.
just information we have
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, please
Yeah,
go on.
So the big business community, which was backing the UPA
Yes.
in the first tenure, their angst with the UPA was that because they got mired in so many scams, they were not taking decisions.
Yes.
Right. And one. Number two, ministries such as the environment ministry was getting a bit more active, and for good reason, in my opinion. But these were the things that dismayed the big business community. And this big business community actually contributed to much of the Narendra Modi campaign in terms of funding the campaign in a
Absolutely.
huge way and so
Yes.
on. And that is, combined with the fact that the Congress has dismayed not just the big business community but the common people of the country itself, it has been a double whammy for the UPA. Narendra Modi winning by close to 4 lakh votes in Vadodara is not surprising, because Vadodara, it had turnout figures of only 49% in 2009. This time it was 71%.
Right.
So one of the highest increases in turnouts across the country.
Let me bring in Darshan Desai to the conversation. Mr. Darshan Desai, thank you so much and welcome to the conversation. Mr. Desai is a senior editor with the Mail Today in Ahmedabad. Sir, your first reaction: 4.25 lakh votes. Narendra Modi has won by that number in Vadodara.
That's not very surprising.
Of course.
In fact, the BJP was expecting 7 lakh margin. They wanted to break all records, but they could not match that. But 4.5 lakhs for Modi in Gujarat is not a surprising thing. It's not a surprising development.
Yes.
So are you saying the Gujaratis let down Narendra Modi?
No, I would not say Gujarat has never let him down. Unfortunately, Gujarat has never let him down.
Good
Well,
one.
because from 7 point, if it's come down to 4 point,
4.2
naturally it's a
yeah.
massive letdown.
Yeah, kind of that way, yeah.
No, but people have, like Srini was just saying, a huge turnout, 71% people coming out to vote. So obviously that just goes to speak for the kind of... So basically, Mr. Darshan Desai, the Congress has been completely rejected across.
Absolutely. But if you look at Gujarat,
Yes.
Compared to the voting percentages across the country, Gujarat has only 63%. And I expected that Gujarat would poll something like 70-80%.
Right.
But that has not happened. That is very strange.
No, but there must be some reason. Sorry.
Yeah,
What
I'd like
is
Yeah,
the
Srini,
reason?
Srini is going to react, comment to that. Please.
Even though the voting percent was close to 67 to 70%, the increase in turnouts and also the absolute increase in numbers, the Gujarat's increase was possibly the highest across the country. So I did an article recently in the EPW looking at turnouts. Some of the percentages in the constituencies in Gujarat, if you look at an average increase in turnouts across constituencies, Gujarat had turnouts increases from 18 to 25% in more than a few constituencies, which was the highest in the country. So in those terms, yes, there has been a big bump because of the enthusiasm of having your own candidate as a prime minister candidate, and the election for good or worse was made into a referendum on Narendra Modi, and that's precisely
What
why.
was the percentage in Vadodara?
71%.
71%.
22%
Yes.
increase from
From what?
from 2009.
2009.
Oh, 2009.
And
All
I
right.
think that was the highest percentage in.
All right. I just saw Satish Kamath smiling when Darshan Desai was saying that he's not surprised at that. Okay, what are your? I'm sure there are a lot of expectations from the business community abroad when it comes to Narendra Modi's policies. What are the basic expectations that you have from him? You talked of growth. You talked of accelerated growth for the country. You said of India once again becoming a superpower. But what exactly specific expectations do you have from Mr. Narendra Modi?
I think if we can focus on some very fundamental issues that the country is struggling through, one of which is power. If there is self-sustenance of power in every state, across the state,
Right.
there'll be a huge amount of impetus on industrialists, job creation, and obviously the whole economy will start churning. The minute you have power cuts, the minute you have everything on corruption related to having power, uninterrupted power, that's where the whole cycle of dissolution starts off. So I feel that's very, very fundamental to the wheel churning almost, well greased, well oiled, or whatever we want to say. And I think that's my very first fundamental expectation. If we can give power to every industrialist, but before that, if we can give power to every house in every village, I think he has really reached a stage where he can take off for the next term.
All right. All right. Okay. Let's just
Yeah.
go to the states once. Mr. Tarun Gogoi,
Yeah.
Assam Chief Minister, has
Right.
taken responsibility
For the
for the defeat. Yes. Let's go to the northeast. What are the trends you're seeing?
See, in the northeast, the biggest surprise is BJP winning around leading in at least 7 out of the 13 trends that we have so far.
Yes.
And that's a huge achievement for the BJP. It is also, in fact, 8 now out of 13. It is also.
Wait, what margin?
I'm not able to look at the margins, but the
BJP is leading in
yeah.
8 out of 13. You said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
But the
okay,
vote
okay.
share figures, they show that this is also the single largest party in terms of vote share. They have 36% of the vote share. The Indian National Congress is just 28%, which is a huge drop.
Yeah.
Right.
One could attribute this to the fact that the Congress has been in power for quite some time in Assam.
Yes.
But I don't think that is a major reason for this. I think Narendra Modi could actually push his agenda of,
Apparently, Srini,
infiltration and other matters.
Srini, sorry to interrupt you there,
yeah.
but Tarun Gogoi, we are just getting reports that he has resigned,
Right.
taking
Oh.
responsibility
Right.
for the
Right.
route of the Congress in
Right.
in
That's
these
huge.
elections.
That's huge.
That's huge. That's huge. In fact, this entire the communal violence that we witnessed
yeah.
in
In Bodoland and,
in Bodoland, and I think that has.
Yeah.
contributed because
yeah.
everybody blamed the
Yeah.
state
Yeah.
machinery's failure to control the
Absolutely,
killings. Bodies were being fished out of rivers even days after the first, the
The
incident took place.
Congress linkage with these riots go back to 1980s. I was one of the 5 journalists who covered Nilli massacre. The first major massacre in the
Yes.
in Indian history after the 48 communal
The
riots.
2012, you're saying?
No,
No,
1983.
Okay,
Nelly,
1983.
Nelly
sorry,
in
okay,
Assam,
okay.
the same place.
Yeah,
same place.
yeah.
There
No,
again,
the largest displacement was in 2012.
yes,
4.5
yes.
lakh people.
No, that again was about the immigrants,
Yes.
the Bangladeshi immigrants.
Bangladeshi
The issue was the same. The governor was ruling the state,
Yes.
and Congress wanted to have a popular government.
Yes.
The Congress government, that is.
Yes.
And despite strong opposition from the Assam Gana Parishad not to hold elections until the electoral rules were revised,
Yes.
Elections
by
are
which they meant remove all the illegal
Yes.
immigrants, illegal voters.
Yes.
The Congress went ahead,
Yes.
and they were left to reap the worst
So
harvest
Congress is
of human
leading
lives.
in only one, I think,
only
right?
in,
And BJP is leading in 8.
Yeah, Congress is leading only in 1.
Yeah.
The AUDF,
AUDF.
of Badruddin Ajmal,
Yeah.
that party is leading in 3 constituencies and 1 independent. is
One
leading.
independent.
That's not a party. That's a one man party,
One man.
one individual.
Right.
That the
But
perfume
This
seller.
just goes to show that all across the country it seems like, in fact, AIA DMK. Let's talk about Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
AIA DMK also seems to be coming in a big way.
Yes.
Do you have the numbers? Srini?
Yeah. Out of the 32 for which trends are available so far,
Yeah.
Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam is leading in 30.
In 30.
Yeah.
Oh, All right, wow, that is
Yeah.
that is big.
No wonder she sacked this poor
Malay Swami.
Malay Swami for saying what she wanted to say later. But you know, for jumping the gun, the poor man lost his job or his position in the party.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about AAP. Okay, I would also like to bring in Satish Kamath once again. You know, the entire way that the Aam Aadmi Party conducted itself, you know, what do you think of AAP? How well do you think it's going to do this time? In fact, I think it's expected to four, right? What are your thoughts on AAP, Mr. Satish Kamath?
First impressions were very good, but the minute the stress started developing, the minute pressure started mounting, the real acid test for leadership is to sustain that pressure and be there. But somewhere I felt AAP didn't have an articulated strategy on how to sustain and exist, and that I feel was the biggest disappointment.
Right.
Of not only me from this side of the world, but most of my friends, whenever we discuss AAP, we have a very, very high regard for the whole organization. But this is not about being good, or this is not about principles. It's about doing the right things and showing results on the long term.
Shazia,
So I
Ilmi,
guess,
Satish.
I guess there's a good amount of learning for them as an organization, and they will come back for sure for the principles that they stand for. If not today, tomorrow they will definitely come through.
Well, I have a word of caution there, Satish. Of course, you're away from the scene. Well, I belong to a school which thinks that Aam Aadmi Party lost for basically 2 or 3 reasons. To begin with, it's the unbridled ambition and reckless impatience.
They fielded more candidates than
Absolutely,
even the BJP.
reckless impatience.
They fielded more
Unbridled
candidates
ambition.
than the BJP.
Can you imagine 422 candidates across the country?
Yes.
There's a saying in my language, you cannot stretch your legs unless you sit up. Now, even
Right.
before you could to sit, you're already spreading your limited resources, limited manpower. There was a time, there were constituencies they couldn't find candidates for.
Yes.
Otherwise, they would have gone for all 543. So that kind of a impatience is certainly
Yes,
it's
Srini?
worked against
Yeah,
it.
I
Yes.
was just to add on to your
And,
point.
and just to support that argument,
Okay.
Rome was not built in a day. So,
So
I would completely agree with you.
talking about Rome, one other reason, the second reason I was going to tell you was
Sorry, it might be a wrong city.
No,
but
no,
Delhi
no,
was
no.
not built in a day.
good one. The talking about Rome, one of the reasons why Rome was destroyed was the obsession with Carthage. Carthage must be destroyed is what every Roman politician began and ended his speech. Carthage must be destroyed. Here, Narendra Modi must be defeated. That's how every AAP and Congress politicians began and ended speech. That kind of an obsession
Yeah.
with a theme
Yeah.
that worked
The
against
negative.
the-
Yeah, Srini,
Absolutely.
you were
Sorry.
making a point.
Just to add on to what Bala was saying, I completely agree with you on 2 regards. One, the AAP, they should have learned from their own success. When they won in Delhi, one of the reasons I was very appreciative of their win was their tactical acumen.
Yes.
They focused on an area in Delhi. I wrote an article about that, where they knew that media concentration was going to be very high, and where they could do a very strong guerrilla campaign from the grassroots,
Right.
and then build from there. And that's the reason they won in the Delhi Assembly elections. Now, the lesson that they should have learned from that was that you should keep your ambitions low and do concentrated campaigns, and then build upon organically from Delhi.
Right.
So focus on Haryana, Punjab, nearby areas. And since their vote shares were very high in the urban pockets, focus on some urban pockets across the country. Instead of doing that, they spread themselves thin. And then,
Too thin, yes.
too thin, and then
And they
fielded
didn't
too
have
many candidates.
adequate budget. I mean, there were people who were
Absolutely.
campaigning
Yeah.
without
Absolutely.
funding, and Arvind Kejriwal had parked himself in
Absolutely.
Varanasi.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the other candidates, they really didn't have that kind of
Absolutely, absolutely.
popular
And-
support.
and the-
And lack of due diligence. They didn't do due diligence.
Right.
while
Shazia
taking
Ilmi,
people.
in
Yes,
fact, is, I think you will just corroborate that for me. Shazia Ilmi is
Ghaziabad, right?
in Ghaziabad, and she's in the 5th position. Okay, all of you who are watching this, please leave us your audio comments and video comments. Please write write in your comments at www.indiapostlive.com. Send us your tweets, hashtag #IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. You will keep this conversation going, of course. And
Just to add one
Yes,
more point,
surely,
but having
surely.
said that,
Yeah.
just to contextualize what Mr. Kamath was saying,
Yeah.
The Aam Aadmi Party is the only party apart from the BJP which has managed to win a support base that straddles across classes, the professional classes, the poor,
but I
and
think
so
the
on.
middle class of Delhi did feel let down.
Yeah, that feeling of being let down was because of the resignation.
Absolutely.
I think
49 days.
if as he pointed out, if they had shown the resilience to take on those problems that they were cropping up as they were in government, and actually done something vis-a-vis governance and which they had promised to the people, especially the Delhi's urban poor,
Right.
I think that would have kept them in good stead. Let just look at the optics. If Arvind Kejriwal had fought in Varanasi as Delhi's chief minister, and against Gujarat's chief minister,
Yes.
instead of being defensive
The
about
dynamics
having
would
to,
have been
dynamics would have been
completely
different.
different, yes.
So they have made a valiant strategy of. I would say they are a very valiant party who are who like to go against against the wind. The fact that Arvind Kejriwal was the only mainstream politician to go to Gujarat and campaign against Narendra Modi,
Yes,
which
yes.
the Congress
That
has
took a
never
lot of
shown
guts, yes.
never shown any interest in taking on Narendra Modi in their own terms. They fielded a Waghela who was also a former BJP hand,
Yeah.
in order to undercut an Hindutva force. Why would anyone go for the second best Hindutva figure when the first best Hindutva figure is already available? So the same thing in Varanasi. They fielded Ajay
Did you
Rai.
see the kind of all the vermilion and stuff like that, the
Yeah.
sandal and all that
Right.
he was pasted with.
Yes.
He suddenly become one of those Hindu yogis.
Yeah, yeah.
The Banarsi.
Yeah.
The kind of people you meet at the ghats.
Let's go down south now. What do you
Yeah.
see happening in Karnataka? Give us the trends of
Yeah,
Karnataka.
again, in Karnataka, the BJP, the only state where BJP will do relatively, less better than in 2009, where their seat margins will decrease is in Karnataka. Having said that,
And that
expectation.
is because, of course, what happened in the
Yeah,
assembly
yeah,
elections and what happened prior to that.
Exactly. The expectation was that the Congress will do better than the BJP. That expectation has been belied. The BJP is leading in 18 out of 28 seats. The Indian National Congress is leading in 8 out of the 28 seats. And the Janata Dal Secular, the joker in the pack, they are leading in 2 seats. Yeah.
All right.
Literally.
2 seats. Yeah.
Literally.
Literally the joker in the pack.
They are leading in 2.
2 seats.
Okay, because they were expecting, I think, 4.
Yeah.
All right. Darshan Desai, you have been listening to the conversation. First of all, a quick view on what we were talking about AAP and why AAP is really, it came in such a way that, it raised the hopes and expectations of all of us. But somewhere down the line, they went wrong.
Yeah, just to interrupt, sorry. Shashi Tharoor is trailing O. Rajagopal at Thiruvananthapuram.
By
Shashi Tharoor is trailing. That's
by 2,500 votes.
Okay, that's a very narrow margin.
Yeah.
Too early to say,
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah.
Okay, Mr. Desai, if you could just give us a quick perspective on AAP.
I would totally agree with him when he says that the Aam Aadmi Party, made it in Delhi, but they made a strategic mistake by leaving the government.
Yes.
That's a very important thing. And the victory of Aam Aadmi Party is a result of not just anti-incumbency, but anti-major political parties, against BJP, against Congress. And that was, that revealed the general sense of disillusionment among the common people, the actual Aam Aadmi, with all the major parties. So I totally agree with him that if he had contested as a chief minister of Delhi in Varanasi against the chief minister of Gujarat, that would have made a difference. So basically the rise of whatever it is of Aam Aadmi Party is basically a general sense of disillusionment against all the major political parties in the country.
Right. Srini, do you think Congress will hit the 3-digit?
No way.
Where is it now?
They are
71? What's
47.
the number?
They're leading in 47 seats.
They're leading in 47.
47
Okay.
seats. Yeah. Out of the 507 counted so far.
Okay.
So in the
And
rest,
what's the BJP now? Because we have we
yeah.
are 25 minutes since we give you the last figures.
The
So.
BJP is leading in 264 with a
Okay.
vote share of 36.1%.
Okay.
Congress with 47 seats, leading in 47 seats with a vote share of 24.7%.
Okay.
And the Mamta's Trinamool Congress and ADMK both leading in 31 seats each.
All right, all right. The exit polls had given Trinamool about 27 to
20,
30.
28, I think.
Yeah.
28 to 30.
30, yeah, all right. So that's retained.
But I think by it's 11 o'clock already, 5 minutes past 11 o'clock. By now, we should have got the final trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The BJP is definitely forming the government.
Yeah.
We should be in a position to say, look, these many seats are going this many to this party.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would
So
say my assessment is that the NDA as a whole
Yeah.
could end up close to around 300 seats,
Okay.
which is
So you're saying that the BJP on its own winning 272 is
possible. They are
possible?
already leading in 264,
Huh.
so they might cross 272 anytime.
Okay, Mr. Desai, do you think the BJP could actually go it alone this time? They are leading in 264 according to latest figures by the EC.
no, this is BJP plus, I think.
No, that's the BJP.
Only BJP.
Only BJP.
You sure?
Sorry,
From what
I
the sorry, from what the trend suggests,
Yeah.
BJP could actually cross
Oh,
270.
okay, okay. So even Mr. Desai is saying that the trends are suggesting the BJP itself could.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen next? Suppose BJP crosses the 272 mark, then I mean.
No, I mean, of course, they've learned to be
But
generous now,
we
of
wait
course,
for final
because with all the seeds, all the wealth that you have already
Right.
accumulated, I mean, it's only natural for the winner to be generous,
Right.
and I don't think they're going to do a ditch game against the
Also,
allies,
yeah.
and they certainly carry along. In fact, when Narendra Modi asked for more and more allies to come, when
Yes.
he said door is open, even
Yes.
one MP represents 125 million, 1.25 billion people. What he meant was actually the more the merrier. He just wants to. He also had, I think, the Rajya Sabha in mind when he said that, because for any legislature to be passed,
Yes, it needs to.
you need constitutional amendment. You need 2/3, and even a simple law, you need a majority in both the houses, obviously.
Right.
So he doesn't want Rajya Sabha to be a hindrance to all the great reforms and legislatures he had in mind.
Before the conversation of course must continue, and it'll continue through all of you. It'll continue through all your tweets, your audio messages, video messages, your posts on www.indiapostlive.com. But before that, let me quickly please go to Srini and ask him about the celebrities who are in the fray in West Bengal. Well, because I was just noticing that there are these trends where Tapas Pal is leading in Krishnanagar. Can you give us the
Bengali
latest?
is a Bengali.
So
No, I'm not being parochial, but I just found it very amusing that these celebrities, people are actually more.
Unfortunately,
What
my
about
state doesn't have
Bankura?
as many celebrities.
yeah, the
What about-
only celebrity I am familiar with is Munmun
Munmun
Sen,
Sen, okay.
in Bankura, and it would be a tragedy if one of the most senior most parliamentarians and generally well respected figure Basudev Acharya loses there. Unfortunately, he's trailing by 13,000 votes.
Vasudev Acharya trailing by 13,000
13,000
votes, and Munmun Sen of the Trinamool
And
is.
Munmun Sen happens to be, self-admittedly a non-serious candidate. So
Absolutely.
So
There was an article on the kind
Well,
of
that's not the
faux
word-
pas she
that's
had
not
said.
the word
Even
actually.
in
So let's-
Darjeeling, can you just confirm that in Darjeeling,
Yeah.
of course, we were expecting SS Ahluwalia to
To win,
lead
yeah,
because of the support of the Gorkhas.
Yeah,
Bachung Bhutia is trailing.
Bachung Bhutia is trailing by around 16,000 votes.
Bachung Bhutia is trailing by 16,000. All right.
I think the reason why someone like Munmun Sen with no political experience, first of all, the reason why she has been fielded, in my opinion, is that Mamata Banerjee doesn't want any power center to emerge anywhere. So she knows very well
But
that she.
glamour versus political experience, and
I think there was a saying in Bengal sometime back that even a lamppost, if it stands in the CPM ticket, would win. So similarly, I mean, the
Right,
Trinamool
no,
Congress
there's
seems
a
to have
different wave.
the
Right,
Trinamool
right.
Congress has done very well in rural Bengal.
Right.
The peace has returned to the Jangal Mahal region, and that peace dividend is being basically exploited by the Trinamool Congress to win votes. And she feels that by setting up any candidate who could possibly win a constituency of his own, her own, it would be a threat. It would threaten her dominance in the party. And that's
Right.
why.
Can I come up with my favorites?
Yeah.
And okay.
Jaswant Singh.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm saying that these
Just-
are going to be your last comments
yes.
because then I have to get to Satish ji.
Jaswant Singh
Yeah.
and our friend and colleague Chandan Mitra.
Yeah, Jaswant Singh
Chandan
is
Mitra from Hooghly.
Jaswant Singh is trailing by around 20,000 votes
Jaswant Singh is
against
trailing.
Sonia Ram. Of course, Jaswant Singh is contesting as an independent. in
Independent
Jaswant.
this time, yes.
And who else were you talking about?
Chandra Mitra.
Okay,
Chandra
there's
Mitra is
breaking
contesting
news
from
coming
where?
in. Can you confirm that Kiran Kher has defeated Gul Panag?
In Chandigarh.
Yes.
Let me just check it.
More importantly, Bansal.
More importantly, yes.
Bansal, Pavan Bansal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just see the trends.
Minister.
Okay, while he's checking that, let me go across to Mr. Satish Kamath once. Sir, you have joined us all the way from US. First of all, I would like to thank you so much for joining the conversation. And your last comments, the next conversation will have to begin. You will of course be leaving your thoughts, I'm sure, as an audio comment as well, or you will be writing to us. But on this show, on this conversation, your final comments on the huge numbers that have come in for the BJP and the NDA.
My visualization of an ideal situation, which it could take shape as we speak now,
Right.
is that Mr. Modi has proved that he's a very good execution guy. He articulates, he conceptualizes, he delivers whatever we have seen, heard in Gujarat. If he can do that from an execution point of view, and if AAP and some of the other stalwarts on the opposition, if they can act as a good check and balance and keep their patience to see how growth is progressing, I think that would be an ideal situation,
Right.
with a good executor and with a good check and balance system for the next 5 years.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamath. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Mr. Darshan
Oh, you're
Desai,
welcome.
your final comments. Is Mr. Desai still with us? Yes. Your final comments. Of course, we are seeing the trends and we know which way we are going.
You know, it was a very strong anti-Congress wave.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and it's not so much of a Modi wave than an anti-Congress wave.
That's a wonderful point. Yes. Yes.
And Modi is an expert at clinging on to anti-incumbency factors.
Yes.
I mean, nobody in India can beat Modi when it comes to hijacking issues. Hijacking this thing.
But is that not what an opposition leader is supposed to be doing? Exposing the government party in power.
I heard our typical NRI opinion, which is a very pro corporate sector opinion,
And no, what you just said, that it is an anti-Congress vote, Mr. Desai. Rahul Gandhi himself is trailing in Amethi. Am I right, Srini?
This was
Mulayam Singh
something
Yadav is trailing.
that was some time ago, I suppose.
Can you just check once, please?
But Chandigarh, as you said,
Yeah.
Kiran Kher is leading
Kiran Kher is leading.
Yeah,
According
she's-
to the Election Commission website,
Yeah.
Kiran Kher is leading.
by around 9,000 votes. In
All
fact,
right.
all close to 10,000 votes
All
over
right.
Pawan Kumar Bansal, and
All right.
Gul Panag is trailing actually.
Gul
She's in
Panag
third
is
place.
trailing. All right. Again, another candidate who seemed to be very popular and young and full of
Yeah.
energy, but
Yeah,
however.
she was riding a motorcycle in Varanasi.
All right. And Pawan Bansal also is
The Pawan Bansal's defeat
That
is
is-
the most, I mean, if at all he is losing,
Yeah.
that's the most politically most significant.
Is
thing.
Rahul still trailing? I
No,
believe
no,
Rahul, he's not, right?
These
It's
are
a very
early
close
figures.
margin.
He's leading by around 2,000 votes, and
Okay.
I think he'll make it.
Okay, he is leading, in fact, by 2,000 votes according to the Election Commission website. All right. So before we, come to the end of this particular conversation, the next conversation will start in just a few minutes. We'll try and get you an infographic. It's been almost half an hour since we first started this conversation. We'll try and get you the infographic of the latest trends that we are seeing right now. Mr. Darshan Desai, thank you so much for joining the conversation. Of course, you will hopefully be with us throughout the day with your insights on the trends that we are seeing. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. All right, so we have the trends for 512 seats, and we are going to try and get you the infographics on that. But I would like to thank. Okay, are we getting the leads? All right. We have the leads for, yes, there we have it. We have the leads for 512 seats. Srini, please take a look.
Yeah.
BJP 266, it seems so close to the 272 mark. And Congress 48. I mean, I was asking you if it'll touch 3 digits.
Yeah.
I eat my words there.
Now that looks like a distant dream.
That's a distant dream. And of course, the others are 198. All right. So the conversation continues on IndiaPostLive.com. But right now, I would like to thank both of you for joining us and giving us your insights and on the trends that we are seeing right now. You all right, we are also getting some breaking news that LK Advani has won in Gandhinagar. Srini will confirm that for us, of course.
Yeah.
But I would like to thank Srini, I would like to thank PP Balachandran, I would like to thank our guests on Skype and Google Hangout. That's Darshan Desai and, of course, Mr. Satish from US for joining us. The conversation continues. Please send us your audio messages, your video messages, write in your posts, send us your tweets, IndiaPostLive.com, #IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. Thank you so much for watching. The conversation continues on this portal. Thanks.
How is it in Orissa? They are doing well, BJP or
Yes, second. They're second. BJD is of course leading even in the assembly.
Not a
seats.
distant second, I suppose.
Not a distant second.
you wish I can talk a bit about the BJP campaign also,
Right.
in contrast with the Congress.
Yes, the sheer aggressive marketing,
BJP?
social media led
Yeah,
marketing. But could we say that translated into votes? This time we could,
Oh, to a large extent, to a very large extent. Yes.
because the India Shining campaign did not.
No, that's because for very other reasons.
It was targeted at a different.
Yes.
Audience.
You see, UPA wasn't that bad.
Do you also feel? Sorry. Yes. So we shouldn't talk about BSP. They are saying the numbers aren't clear.
Oh.
Maybe towards the latter half of the
Okay.
show.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I was only amplifying what they said.
What about Sampad Mahapatra joining us? Then let's get the participant till we get Sampad sir. Yeah. Do you feel the anti-incumbency factor was also strong then?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can
It's
we
a,
say both
it's a
combined?
cumulative effect of
Right,
X,
right.
Y, Z factors. It has to be like all elections.
Of course, of course.
It's about governance. It's about lack of leadership. It's about economy. It's
Yes.
about law and order. It's even about China and Pakistan.
Okay.
Everything. Security.
Foreign
National
policy,
security,
national
yeah.
security.
Hello and welcome to IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live and interactive news conversation web TV. I'm Prachi Jatanya. It's the big verdict day, May 16th. The country has been waiting for results. Counting has begun briskly and the numbers coming in so far. BJP getting a clean sweep in more than 5 states. To give us more perspective and analysis on who the winners are, the key candidates trailing and leading in fact in various states, we have in the studio Mr. Ajit Pillai, senior journalist, also formerly with the Outlook magazine, Mr. P.P. Balachandran, senior journalist. We will also have Sampath Mahapatra joining us, another senior journalist, in just a few minutes. We also have some interesting callers on Google Hangout. Keep your feedback coming in on our Twitter handle @IndiaPostLive. Also hashtag Hum Bole a contest and you can win exciting prizes. I'll come to you, Mr. Pillai. So far, the clean sweep for BJP in 5 states, which include, interestingly, Delhi, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttarakhand as well, and Himachal Pradesh and Goa. Any surprises there for you?
Not at all, although I thought maybe AAP might have won a seat in Delhi, but not really. It didn't work out for them. I think their stint in the state government did them in. But other than that, when one went around the constituencies, you could see that there was a BJP surge. And call it the Modi wave, call it the overall effect of Modi having traveled 300,000 kilometers in this election campaign. If he had done 84,000, he would have covered the distance to the moon. But it was a very vigorous campaign, followed up by, very active presence in the social media, on Twitter. I think they appealed to a cross-section of voters. And also, I think there's a huge anti-incumbency factor. 10 years of UPA, the second stint was a very poor showing, both on the economic front and also when it came to social welfare schemes, which were botched up. And this difference of ideology between the Prime Minister and the Congress Party made it ineffective on both counts. Neither was industry happy, neither was a common man happy. So I don't think there are any real surprises. Although one expected a win, but one didn't expect this sort of a victory.
Right. Nitin Gadkari, we're getting reports Nitin Gadkari has already won his seat from Nagpur. Also, Kiran Kher doing exceedingly well in Chandigarh, versus Pawan Bansal and Gul Panag of the AAP. Mr. Balachandran, what is your first reaction to the key candidates that we are talking?
Well, talking to begin with, Nitin Gadkari, I think the recent Supreme Court decision and the CBI sort of announcing that there are no cases against him, I think he did probably, I don't know whether it came on after the voting or before the voting. In any case, the popular perception even then, even during the campaigning time, was Nitin Gadkari was above board. In spite of all the attempts by CBI and the government to sort of malign him, I think at least his constituency could see through it.
Right.
So that's not a big surprise again. As far as the Gul Panag, Kiran Kher, Pawan Bansal thing, I think the story actually is the loss of Pawan Bansal. The man, of course, some would say he was expected to lose after all the scandals and all that. But then, considering that it's Chandigarh, considering that it's Pawan Bansal, the kind of very cocky attitude the man had to begin with, I mean, he could never have lost. That's what the impression he gave us. So now, having lost that, now I think it's a popular verdict.
Are you surprised at all with Ajit Singh's loss in Baghpat, to a BJP candidate, Satyapal Singh? Do you feel it was inevitable?
I'm quite surprised, in spite of Muzaffarnagar. I'm quite surprised, in spite of the fact that his candidate, the adversary, was not a very strong one. Because Ajit Singh was to win. He was expected to win, as I said, in spite of all these things.
And it's their bastion, isn't it?
Yes.
For the family.
A Jat is a Jat, as I said earlier. And Charan Singh's son.
Right.
There was no reason Jats would let him down. So, here the Modi adversaries could say, no, that's how they polarize the votes and all those things. The end result is Ajit Singh lost.
Are you surprised with Nandan Nilekani trailing in Bangalore? Are there any factors that could contribute to the fact that the other candidates seem to be performing, but Nandan Nilekani, his debut into politics, what did you think were his chances?
Well, with all his money, with all his glamour and persona and profile, high profile. Basically, the voter would always go with an experienced person. He is no match against Anand Kumar when it comes to hardcore politics. He's a wannabe. He's seen through and through as a wannabe. The man flaunting his money, the man flaunting his profile.
Even the UIDA did not really help.
Nothing
Aadhaar
worked.
didn't.
And UID is not a roaring success, if you ask me, honestly.
Very true.
So,
Mr. Pillai.
In fact, about the UID card, I did a column in one of the Karnataka papers, the regional papers, and it got a huge response where I said that, I had got my Aadhaar card with the address given as RK Puram police station.
yeah. No, but there's more does the picture look like yours?
Thankfully, that much did, and I got a call from the police station saying, "I think this is your card because your mobile number has been written on it for some reason." And what do I do with that card? So I had written a piece saying that, and a lot of people wrote in saying that this entire scheme is
a failure.
Is a failure, a non-starter, and absurd.
Absolutely.
So I think, although, that is one of the largest, it is the largest circulated paper in the region.
Right.
So, you could sense that, with all his talk of IT and failing to deliver,
Yeah.
I don't think he stood a chance.
What about Punjab? There seems to be surprises in store. We had Yogendra Yadav confidently telling us AAP will get a lot of seats.
Yes.
They seem to have performed exceedingly well. But we look at Arun Jaitley still trailing the numbers. As per reports, the numbers are still coming in. Amrinder Singh doing exceedingly well. What are your thoughts on that?
Other than AAP, all the other parties failed to focus on certain issues. One of it was the problem of drugs. Drug trafficking, drug addiction, and I think AAP was the only party which focused on that issue. And now, as far as Arun Jaitley, I do not know the final result, but should he lose, I think he should blame his alliance partner, the Akalis, and how they, planned his campaign, worked against him. And in the initial stages, it appeared as if he would just win. But Amrinder was a very strong candidate and planned his campaign.
Right. We are also getting reports about in Udhampur, Ghulam Nabi Azad trailing by a huge margin, and Jitendra Singh from the BJP getting an easy lead so far, as per reports.
That's a surprise.
Yes, Mr. Balaji.
I'm quite surprised by that because BJP itself was not expecting any seat from Kashmir, not Jammu. In fact, conversely, they were only expecting a seat or two to win, to come from Jammu. Now, if this happens eventually, that's a big surprise.
Right. We are getting a lot of Twitter feedback also. We're getting LK Advani congratulating Narendra Modi over BJP's excellent performance as per the Press Trust of India, PTI. A lot of people tweeting saying that it's not a wave, it's a tsunami.
Tsunami.